Hi, I am the awful chef, and I gotta eat, so I better cook something. Today we're finally doing a dessert. Oh goody. 5 ingredients, half an hour at the most in the oven, and you're a genius. So, let me show you what we got. I gotta move this. Let's get you a little motion sick here. Okay, I have a store-bought pie crust. Let me get the lights. Still getting used to this YouTube thing. Sorry about that. So, just a pie crust. Just a pastry. You know, they sell them. You pull them out of the refrigerator. You warm them up. Flat piece of pastry. You put it in the Tart Pan. Dock it. Yes, you can see there are holes in that. And then pre-bake it a little bit. Just until it's a little crusty. Okay. So, instant pie crust. Next magic ingredient, Marscapone cheese. Now there is one little bit of trick here. We are using half of this container. Do not stick your fingers in it. Use a clean spoon. Because your fingers, no matter how many times you wash them, are dirty. And you will grow mold in your mascarpone before you can use the other half. So, what do we do with mascarpone, which has been left out and is warm? We drop it in the middle of the pie. Yes, I'm trying to figure out how to do this properly without spending a fortune on camera equipment. As you can see, I am just patting it out. Yeah. You want a thin layer of mascarpone cheese. And you just keep patting it out, gently, slowly, carefully. And yes, your pie crust will shrink. As it cooks, it will slide down the edges of your tart pan, which is very annoying, but it is reality. Okay, let's get a little bit more of this wonderful stuff. This is genuinely a 5-ingredient French-style pastry. Well, provided you consider the pie crust, which is thoroughly adequate, trust me, to be 1 ingredient. You will get delightfully sticky and messy and awful doing this. So don't be surprised if it sticks to your fingers. It's kind of like, I don't know. Messy spackling. Yes, that's it. This is what happens when you try to fix a wall with your bare fingers. Now, I'm actually going to go over my self-imposed time limit today because you're just simply going to want to see how stupidly simple this is. Okay. Little too much built up on my fingers. Okay. La la la. So, our magic, well, one of our several magic tricks today is we have 2 Granny Smith's apples that have been peeled and cored, and each of which has been sliced into 32 individual slices. Oh my god, how did you do 32 apple slices? 32 slices out of 1 apple. Well, what you do is once you have it peeled and cored, you cut it in half. That gives you 2. Cut that in half again. Gives you 4. Cut that in half again. That gives you 8. Cut that in half again. That gives you 16. And finally, cut that in half again. That gives you 32. And yeah, by that point, they're going to be getting kind of thin. Oh, my nose itches. Of course. Let me show you how to cook by scratching your nose on TV. Okay. Let me clean off my delightfully messy fingers and show you what I have done. Yes, I'm in a quarter zip again. Cooking clothes. So, we have a pie crust with a thin coating of mascarpone on the bottom. It is fairly even. It is not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. And here we have a grand total of 64 apple slices. Not all of which we are going to need. So let me lay out the first layer. And it's just one over here, one over here. I am a little finicky about this in that I like to have them all facing the same way on the same layer. What do I mean by that? Well, let me show you. Here we are. You can see the rounded edges all go in the same direction. So that's 4. And there are quite a few, which means I have to figure out what I'm going to say to keep you interested. Well, I lay out 64 apple slices. Well, not quite 64. They are not entirely consistent in thickness. They are cut by a human being who is, well, he's an awful chef. So what I'm doing is just layering apple slices in between apple slices, in between apple slices. Yes, it is that simple. If there's a space, there's an apple slice in it now. It's kind of hard to do in the dark, but I have to make sure that this is visible through my less than expensive camera. Okay, here we are. Let's put some in the middle, huh? What do you say? Some of the slices that came out a little smaller will go perfectly in the middle. Yes, you will have varying sizes of apple slices. Okay, magic. Here we are, one layer of apple slices. So, I have a total of 5 ingredients that need to be used. Let's add some brown sugar to that. So, yes, this stuff. Now we have a lot of choices at this point, what we want to do. You could theoretically put down another layer of mascarpone, which I am not going to do. Okay, so brown sugar, apples, mascarpone, store-bought pie crust that was docked and pre-baked. So, more apples. And I like to put them in the opposite direction of the ones below. If nothing else, makes it easier to see where they are. Now, if you've been paying attention, you've noticed there is not a whole lot to this. The only complicated thing I'm doing is trying to keep my apple slices in the same direction. The one thing I will say is that they do need to be sliced very thinly, because there's not a lot to cook with this. So you want them to cook quickly. Okay, this one has a little bit of core attached to it, which kind of shows up. So let's just cut that off. That's the thing nobody gets right, is when they think French cooking, they think hard, hard, hard. French cooking is ridiculously easy, although there are very difficult dishes to be made. But by and large, you know, people come home, people are tired from work, they need food, they need it quickly. And if you study foreign cultures, you'll find a great many very simplistic dishes. Okay, and I am running out of space for apples, which means that I am about done. Here we go. So let's wipe the apples off my hands so I don't get apple juice inside my brown sugar. Yes, it is this easy to make a very, very good dessert. The brown sugar on top will caramelize into a very nice, very attractive crust. Okay. We do have a pile of apple slices left over. You're welcome to give those to the children or anyone you please. But the important thing is that the slices that are used are very, very thin and will cook very, very quickly before any of their juices can go through the pie crust. Squeezing the air out. Oh, look. Brown sugar for another 1,000 years. I do hate crusty brown sugar. Okay, so here we are. That is our magic. Now, let's do the one thing that nobody ever thinks about. Salt. A light dusting of salt on top. Very light, to accentuate the flavors. And there we have a French-style apple tart. I hope that didn't take too long. Throw it in, bake it, 350, whatever. The important thing is you keep an eye on it. And when this top looks kind of done, you're done. Takes about 15 to 20 minutes, usually. And if you want, you can use the broiler to put an extra crust on the top. So, that's it. 5 ingredient French style apple tart in 15 minutes. Good heavens, I've been slow today. That's it. Please subscribe. Thank you. And we're done.